Hi everyone, I'm going to teach you how to play Aeris theme song as I played on my channel. This is composed by Nobuo Uematsu from the Final Fantasy VII video game from 1997, and this arrangement is by Piano Squall, who's really quite wonderful. So to start with, we have our left hand right here above middle C, playing a D on octaves right here with A in the middle, and you're going to stretch your left thumb just a little bit further when you're doing this, so D, A, D, Dad, but with your thumb, press down E as well as that high D, so 4 keys in total. So that's what the left hand's doing right here at the beginning. And then the right hand's just going to do F sharp, A, and then D. And I recommend second finger, third finger, fifth finger. So altogether, the first part is just like that. Now feel free to rewind that if you need to go over that again, but the first part is pretty simple. Now next, what we're going to do is with our left hand, we're going to just shrink it in just a little bit. Keep the index finger right where it was on A, but your pinky is going to move up to E, and then your thumb is going to come down from D and E down to C. So E, A, C. This is an A minor chord on the left hand. And then over on the right hand, what we're going to do is press C, A, E. So same notes, actually, but going down instead of a chord. So the second part together sounds like this. That A minor chord. And I'm going to play the whole thing from the beginning. So far, just the first 2 measures. D major chord, and then switching to our A minor chord. Now the left hand's going to go back to that first D shape, so D, A, D, and then E. Figure my birds back there, they like to make noise whenever I'm making a video. And our right hand, while we're playing that, is going to be like this. F sharp, A, D, C sharp, E, D, B, C sharp, A, and then the right hand is going to come down and make a chord on C and E. So again, F sharp, A, D, just like the first measure, but then we go C sharp, E, D, B, C sharp, A, and then chord on C and E, which I guess you could call a C3 chord if you wanted to, but really it's actually an A minor chord without the A. So all together, the left hand and the right hand, I'm going to play together that third measure. It sounds like this. Into the fourth measure. So when we get into that fourth measure, notice that the left hand switches again to this A minor shape. So to start with, for the first 4 measures, we're rocking between this D chord right here, so D, A, D, E, and this A minor chord, E, A, C. So we're going to do that switch twice. And on the right hand, we're doing that riff that alternates between D and A minor. So all together from the beginning, the first 4 measures sounds like this. 3, 4, A minor, 3, 4, back, A minor, and there's that C3. So that's the first 4 measures. So this next part right here on measure 5 is pretty tricky, but what you're going to do on the right hand is start by putting your thumb on A and your index finger on F sharp. That's the first 2 notes that you're going to play on the right hand together. So, and then take your ring finger when you're still pressing down these 2 and put that down on A next. So, and then what you're going to do is use your ring finger here as like an anchor point. You're going to just shift your hand over a little bit and put your thumb and your pinky on both of these Ds right here. So that's how you do it. As little hand movement as possible. Practice doing this. You'll get the hang of that pretty quickly. And then while you're still here and getting into the 6th measure on the right hand, the easiest thing to do actually is just take your pinky here, put it on C, take your first finger here, your pointer finger, sorry, your second finger, your pointer finger, put it on E like this. And then you're going to press those together. So E and C. And then take your ring finger again, same position, don't move it, on A and press that next. So like this. And then you're going to take your first finger, which is currently resting above E, and you're going to use that as an anchor point and move your thumb over here to A. And then press A and E down together. So that seems a little complicated, but I'll play it really slowly. So starting on measure 5, A and F sharp, and then A, and then both these Ds, and then E and C, A, and then the lower A and E. Again. You see how little my hand moves right there? That's what you want to go for. You don't want to be doing like doing these wild jumps when you're doing it, you know, like that. You can do that, but it's going to be way, way harder for you if you do it that way or any other way than this. So try to practice just getting as smooth a motion as possible with this shape that I just showed you on the right hand. So just like that. All right, now for the left hand. So we're going to start on the left hand here with this D, and then the thumb is going to come over to this F sharp right here, and the pinky is going to be on this A. So remember how you did this A and F sharp stretch over here? Literally the same shape is going to happen here on the left hand. So you're going to go F sharp, A, E, A, D, A. So you're coming down with it, with A as your anchor note. Starting on D. So let's do it again from the beginning. D, come up to F sharp, and then A, E, D. So D, F sharp, A, E, A, D, A. A little quicker. And on the right hand, you're still doing this kind of tough riff, so I'll play them together so you can hear it. And then the next part on the left hand, it starts on this A right here. And then you're going to take your thumb and come up to this C and rest your pinky on the E and rock between C and E, B and E, A and E. So a similar pattern to what we had before, coming down and rocking with its anchor note here. This time it's E instead of A though, starting on C on the thumb. So start on A. A, C, E, B, E, A, E. And what's happening on the right hand now is, again, let's go over it. Remember that? So let's start on A on the left hand and let's do them together. So if you practice that, you'll be able to do that pretty reliably. But it is tough, and that is, I think, these two measures, 5 and 6, the hardest part of the whole song. So you'll definitely have to practice that, but I'll play it one more time just so you can see it one more time. Slow it down if you want to. So let's talk about now the end of this 6th measure on the right hand. You can see there's this very fast D, E, and then this chord right here, which is a B flat major chord, but a different inversion. So what we're going to do to get out of this phrase again is on the right hand, D, E, F sharp, B flat, and D at the same time. So like this. Individual notes D, and then E, and then the chord B flat, just like that. F, B flat, and D. So da-na-na. And then we have F natural, E, D, E, and then a nice G minor chord. G, B flat, and D. So G, B flat, and D. And then finally at the end of measure 8, there's one more D note that you play right there. Just a quick little 8th note to get us into this D chord on measure 9 right here. And again, this is a different inversion. So you've got F sharp first, and then A, and then D. and then another D major just a little bit higher. This one like this. So D, F sharp, A, and then the higher D here. So that's what we're doing on the right hand between measures 5 and 10 before we start the second part of the song. So this could be considered the intro. So let's talk about the left hand now. As we get out of measure 6, after we do this riff right here, what we're going to do is start on B flat with our left hand and go B flat, F, B flat, C, and then a regular B flat major chord. So B flat, D, and F. So we go just like that. Now let's play the left hand and the right hand together. We're going to start with those 16th notes at the end of measure 6, and we're going to go right into measure 7, both hands together. Yep. We're going to do a similar thing here with the left hand on measure 8, this time starting on G. So G, D, G, A, and then a G minor chord arpeggiated just like that. So quickly, G, B flat, and then D like that. So, bum, 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 bum. And that D on the right hand. And then finally, right hand plays the D chord, and the left hand does a similar pattern, except this time on D. So these little scale things right here that we've been doing for the last 3 measures are pretty typical in this song, and you're going to be doing that in this B section that we're about to start. So let's talk about this right here on 9 and 10 on the left hand. So you got D, A, D, E, F sharp, A, D, E, and then back down to this D. Again. And so I'll play those again one more time, just 9 and 10. And so that right there is the intro of this song so far. And now we're going to get into this B section, which starts right here at the end of measure 10. So we're going to start with these pickup notes right here on the right hand at the end, and that's D and E. So ba na, and then F sharp. And then we have a similar pattern, F sharp, G, A. Meanwhile, the left hand, after we start with the first 2 notes, so D and E, nothing on the left hand yet, but then we have a similar pattern to what we've been doing so far, but a little bit of a variation. So we have B natural, F sharp, and then C sharp up here, and then D. So actually kind of a big jump right here from this B all the way up to this D where it ends up. So let's play it together, right hand and left hand, starting at the end of measure 10. And then again, we're going to do F sharp and G. And this time we're going to do on the left hand C sharp, F sharp, A natural, and C. So together that sounds like this. So now at the end of 12 here, we have a similar kind of pattern on the right hand that we had before, but now it's actually in thirds. So we're going to start on G, and the third of G is B. So, and then A and C sharp as we go up, and then B and D, back down to G and B. And then a G by itself, just as a quarter note at the end there. So we'll stop there and just pause and talk about that. So G, A, D with the thirds. Meanwhile, on the left hand, as we're doing those thirds, we have a pattern, again, that's similar, but we have D, G, B, D. So let's play those together, starting at the end of 12. And now we're coming into 14. And what we're going to do here is with our second finger, put it on F sharp. And then my third finger, I like to have that on A. And we're going to play those together. Then you're going to lift up your third finger and press down your fourth finger before putting the third finger back like this. So A, B, A, while holding down this F sharp. Meanwhile, the left hand is going to be doing another similar pattern, but this time in D major. So D, F sharp, A, D. So together it sounds like this. And you might find that a little bit tricky because there's this 16th note right here in between as you go to it, and that's right between this D and this F sharp that you do on the left hand. So I would say just go slowly if you have trouble with that. I definitely have trouble with this, so go slowly like this. And then what we have is A, F sharp, and then A and C sharp on the right hand. So again, A, F sharp, A and C sharp chord together. Take that same thing up an octave, A and C sharp. And then we're going to come down to G sharp and B natural. And then F sharp and A natural. And on the left hand, we're doing C sharp, F sharp, A, and C sharp. So that's a shape we did before earlier, so that one should be familiar. So let's play the end of 14, 15, and 16 together. And it sounds like this. G sharp, F sharp. And then we have B and A at the end of 16 going into 17. And then we have this G major on the left hand. So start with D, G, B, D. So on the right hand, we have B, A, and then way down an octave, B and D, before going up to G and B. And then going on to the next page here, we've got 18. You can see that we actually have D and A here. So big fifth, and then down to D and G. And then finally, to get out of 18, we have another pickup, which is A and F sharp. So let's start now at the end of 16 and play 17 and 18. Here's the D and A. You can see again, the left hand is repeating. So that D, G, B, D pattern that we started on 17 repeats on 18 as well. So one more time, let's just play that. And then the same thing at the end of 18. We have A and F sharp. And again, the left hand is doing this C sharp, F sharp, A, C sharp. So that's, of course, an F sharp minor chord. So let's play that right now, the end of 18 and 19. And it goes up an octave just like before at the end of 18 there. So at the end of 18 here, we have a repeat of what we just did a couple measures ago, starting with A and F sharp. And then we come down again an octave to A and C sharp on the right hand. So just like we did before, A, F sharp, A and C. Go up an octave. This is the end of 19, so A and C. And then we're going to do C sharp and F sharp. And then finally our pinky is going to come up on A here. It's a big dramatic chord right here at the end of measure 20. So let's start again at the end of 16, and let's play all the way to the end of 20. Hear how great that sounds? And then this is where things change, by the way, at the end of 20. You can see that instead of doing these scale things that we were doing with the left hand, we start doing octave basses. So you can see we have B, A, G, B, A, G. So let's talk about the left hand now at the end of 20. So after we do this same C, F sharp, A, C sharp pattern, at the first part of the measure, we end with B, A as octaves, G octaves right here, and then D in the middle, and then the higher G, and and then you're going to jump up here to B and D. Hold it, and then just at the end, one final eighth note of D. And then a jump down to this lower G here. So big dramatic jump here at 22. So we have G and then A. So let's just talk about that so far. So the end of 20 all the way to 22 on the left hand. So B, A, G, D, G, B. Of course, this is B and D together. And then D, G, A. So a big change in the style that you're doing on the left hand. So you're going to have to practice that transition. That was maybe the hardest thing for me in learning this song and this arrangement was the end of measure 20 here. So let's now talk about the right hand at the end of measure 20. So we have, again, thirds on G. Just like we did before. Hold it for that whole measure. Quarter note pause. Again, B and D, A and C, and G and B. And then we have a D major here into 23. F sharp and A, and then D and F sharp. So let's go now to the end of measure 20, and let's play both the parts together. So you can see here this jump from G to A, back up to D when we get into measure 23. So let's play the whole thing again, end of 20, getting into 23, okay? So here's our transition. That D major chord. All right, now let's get into measure 24. So we start on this low G here on the left hand, half measure, and then A, G, low F sharp, and then A, and then C sharp, and then down to B. So this is a little bit tricky with octaves. So let's start on 24. So G, A, G, F sharp, A, C sharp, B. All right, and then C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and then G chord. All right, so that's getting to the end of measure 28. So 24 to 28. So again, the left hand is doing just basic octave bass stuff, but it's a little bit tricky the way these jumps are. So let's do the left hand again. So let's do the left hand again, starting from 24. G, A, G, F sharp, A, C sharp, B, C sharp, B, E, F sharp, G chord, A chord, and then lower A octaves. Now meanwhile, the right hand is going to let G play to start with. So the right hand has this quarter rest right here to start with. So G starts. And then the thirds again, starting on D and going down. And then we have this A and C sharp thing again with F sharp on the left here. So this makes an F sharp minor chord. So boom, and then F sharp by itself. And while you're doing A, C sharp, and F sharp together, you're going to move the left hand up to A. And then while you're holding that on the right hand still, you're going to take your left hand and quickly go up to C sharp. And then land on B on the left. Again, you have this rise. And here you have E and A. And then C sharp and E. So A major figure right there. And then G. And then A. And this gets us into our C section, or the third part of the song. So we'll talk about that next, the end of 28. But let's see if we can play the whole thing together from 24 all the way to 28, leaving out just those last two pickup notes. We're going to start on that G. So at the end of measure 28, our left hand is holding octaves way low down here on A, and the right hand is doing this E and F sharp. And then we're going to take the left hand and move it down to G. Meanwhile, the right hand is going to rest the thumb and the first finger on B and D right here. And the pinky is going to be up here on G, and it's going to go down just like that while you're holding the thumb and the first finger on B and D. So G, F sharp, E, D, while the left hand is doing G. So let's hear that. That's measure 29. And now we're going to come up to E and F. And then a G major chord. And then we're going to come to A right here on the left hand, while we're doing the same figure that we did before. So thumb on B, first finger on D, and then pinky on G. So the left hand is doing A this time. Go down to F sharp just like that. And then take your left hand and move it to the A an octave lower, just like that. And at the same time, you're going to take your right hand and put your thumb on G, first finger on A, and pinky on D. So these two right here are not going to play anything. So just relax in a natural, comfortable position. Take your pinky and then move it up to E. And then finally, as we get into measure 31, we're going to go back to this D major chord by doing F sharp, A, and D. So let's talk about the end of 28 all the way up to 31. So we go on the right hand. And you can put a little arpeggio at the end there if you want when you get to that D major. I like to do that, but it's up to you. So again, at the end of 28 on the left hand, we have A octaves down low here while we're doing the E to F sharp on the right hand. Go down to G. E, F, G chord, and then A's. And on the left hand here, we're going to do a similar scale to what we did before. So D octaves, and then A in the middle, D, E, F sharp, A, D, E, and then down to D. So let's do that together, right hand and left hand. Just measure 31. All right. Now we're getting into the end of the song here. So let's talk about measure 33 now. This is really part 4 of the song and the ending of the song before everything loops again. So we'll go over this too. So we let everything fade out after doing this D scale. 2, 3, 4, rest, D, C sharp, B, A, E, and then quickly E, F sharp, G, F sharp, E, D, hold it, G, B, and then we're going back to the beginning here, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's do 33 through 36, okay? Once again, the left hand is doing D, C, B, A, down to E, and then this. So this is a little bit quick, but it's the only thing that you have to focus on. There's nothing happening on the right hand, so you'll be able to get this pretty quickly if you have any trouble just by practicing it a little bit. But again, this little riff here right at the end of 34 and into 35 is... And that's that's the end of section 4, going back to the beginning. And you can see here, though, the right hand is now doing octaves when they do the repeat here. So let's do the same thing as the very first measure on the left hand. Again, that's D, A, D, E on the left hand. And then with the right hand doing octaves, we're going to do F sharp, A, D. So together, let's play it. Once again, squish our left hand to do E, A, C. And our right hand is going to do C, A, E as octaves. And then we're going to do that same riff that we did on measure 39 at the beginning, but this time with octaves. So let's do it. Switching to A minor again, ending on that C and E chord. So we won't talk about measures 41 and 42. We'll just leave it there for now and call this part 1. Hopefully with enough practice, you'll be able to get all of this, but I hope this helped you to be able to do it. So if you watch this video and the performance of it that I posted just before this, you should be able to get this with enough practice. I'll link to the sheet music in the description as well. And I hope you guys learn more about the composing style of Nobuo Uematsu as well. I really love his music, and I think that he's a lot of the reason why Final Fantasy VII was such a great game and such a memorable game. It had really great music. So I'll be doing more Final Fantasy VII tutorial videos in the future. So if you want to learn any song in particular, just leave a comment down below and I'll get to it. I also ask if you like this that you comment, subscribe, like, all that stuff really helps with YouTube pushing the algorithm forward and helping the channel to be able to grow. So this is Eric with Composed Music Now. Thank you guys very much, and I'll see you in the next video.